Okay, so we're going to start sitting down on one of your towels, or if you've only got one, that's the one you're sitting on. Just really because most people when they sit, I'll show you, most people when they sit on the floor sit like this, and some people even sit like this on chairs. So you need to get higher so that you can uncurl your pelvis and so that you can have your sit bones down towards the floor and not have a really big curve outwards of this low back like that. So when you sit with your hips up, that means you can sit more upright. So let's do that. So we're sitting on the towel. We're not going to be here forever, so if it's uncomfortable because of that dip, then we'll just try and keep it short. So cross-legged, have the other towel nearby, hands on your knees, and then lift your shoulders up and drop them. You can always move into kneeling for pretty much all the sitting exercises if you want to just be kneeling and then sit when we do some lean back things. Okay, so now we're just going to move through your low back. So we're kind of thinking of backs during this whole class and looking after our back. So it means, being able to stabilize our rib cage and stabilize our pelvis. So that's really all your core muscles. And we're also doing lots of stretching and twisting and side bending of the spine. Who was it that said that? Someone said that your age, you are the age of your spine. It'll come to me who said that. Somebody said that. Might be Buddha. Don't know who. Anyway, we're sitting up and down and rotating through your low back. And then we're going to stay sitting up. And then just lift your shoulders up and drop them down. Lift them right up and drop them down. Up and down. Actually, it might have been the Dalai Lama. It was someone not to do with movement anyway. Okay, up and down. And then let your shoulders come all the way down and then just let your bottom rib drop down. And we're going to get hold of your towel. We're going to hold it in front of you and keeping your bottom rib down, we're going to circle the towel. So the towel's out in front, your ribs down, your low back has a dip going towards your belly button, and then we are circling. So we're just practicing moving our arms without moving our rib cage. This is what often happens, is sort of this as people move their arms. They're not really moving their shoulders, they're just moving their back, you might be able to see. So all of that stays nice and centered, and then we're moving. Let's go round the other way with the towel. So if you haven't got a towel, you're just holding on to nothing. And then we're going to take the towel in front and we're going to put it on both hands. So if it was a Pilates block, we're kind of expecting it to be kind of like a tray. And you want your little fingers to be touching the towel as much as your thumbs. And it's the base of your thumb and the base of your little finger that you want to touch the towel. And then bring your elbows in so they're as close as your hands. Elbows staying in is number one, needs to stay. And we're going to lift our shoulders up and drop them down. Lift up and down. So just lifting up and down of your shoulders, and you'll be able to feel that this arm position is really regulated by the flexibility of your shoulders. So you might feel it in your upper back and neck if they're not very flexible. Shoulders right down, and then circle the towel here, but keep your elbows in. So we're just doing circles above your knees, as large as you can. Keep your elbows in and keep your little fingers touching the towel, and keep the base of your little fingers touching the towel, and keep the towel flat like a tray. So all those things might mean that your towel circles are really small. Let's go around the other way. You might be able to feel here that it's all in the upper arm as well, all just struggling with the shoulder. Might just be me because I have very, very tight shoulders. So large as you can, check your elbows, check your little fingers. And then just hold the towel in front and reach it out and in. So just like you're trying to offer your tray out for someone further away, and then back in. And keep your elbows tucked right in, shoulders down. So try and breathe as you do this. So just breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your nose or mouth. Long exhales. Okay, let's hold the towel out, and now we're going to take our legs out in front of us. So now if you're kneeling, you just sit for this bit. So legs are out in front, feet flat if they go flat, but quite bent. And then we're going to drop on and off our sit bones again. So just make sure you're not going to fall off your towel. So we're making a C curve of your low back again, just dropping onto your tailbone, off your tailbone, onto your sacrum, and then onto your sit bones. Off and on, and check your elbows are tucked in. And check your little finger, the pads of your little fingers stuck on the towel. And we're going to breathe out as we go back and in to come up. Just check that you're not, as you come up, lifting your rib cage up. So rib cage should stay down. So for quite a small move, it's pretty complicated. Okay, we're going to start moving the towel. So we're going to sit up, take it into one hand. The other hand's just going to be empty, facing the ceiling. Take a breath in, breathe out, sit back onto your sacrum, and then take the towel out to one side and turn to look at it. So your rib cage has turned, and then bring it back in. Breathing in, breathe out, breathe in. So again, here make your towel into a solid block that the pad of your little finger stays on. Keep your shoulder down. 2 more. And then hold the towel out. Curve in your low back. We're going to lift and lower the towel. So the worst you want to feel here that's not in your shoulder and in your tummy is that maybe your thighs have started aching a bit. You don't want your low back to ache. So if that's the case, then you just need to go into kneeling because your abs have ended their work. Okay, bring the towel in, swap hands. Breathing out, going back, sweeping that towel out to the side. Breathing in, coming in. The other arm stays still. And remember, we're turning towards the towel. And don't worry about how far you can get down or how far the towel can go back. Just try and keep it feeling comfortable. And don't let your shoulders lift. So that's a biggie, that shoulders now lift up so that you're actually using neck muscles instead of the muscles around your shoulder. Hold the towel out here, you'll turn towards it. We're going to lift and lower it. And there's often a big difference between people's shoulders because most people are very dominant on one arm. Let's bring that towel in and let's cross our legs. Just put the towel in front of you and drop your head. And just let your shoulders lift up and down. So you're shrugging your shoulders as you're curled forward. Okay, last one, sitting, holding the towel. We're going to get hold of the towel with both hands, just either side, so not as a tray. Bring your elbows right in, so your elbows are as wide as your hands again. And we're going to lift the towel up and lower it while keeping your ribs down. So it might seem very easy, but just make sure that there's no lift and lower. This is me lifting and lowering here. Lifting, rib cage, lowering. Try to keep it down. Just arms move. Shoulders don't lift. And then hold the towel up as high as it goes, which you can see might not be very high up with your ribs down. And then put the towel behind your head and lift it up. Keep your elbows tucked right in. Make sure you're breathing. And don't worry about how far it goes behind your head or doesn't go. Just keep your elbows tucked right in. So the closer the better. And last one. And then let's put the towel down. And we're going to twist just to get that out. So let's put one hand on one knee. Let's put the hand on the opposite knee, actually. And then give a push to that knee as you turn and look over your shoulder. And then when you've turned around, sit up really tall, but ribs down, chin in, so tall through the back of your body. This stretches your shoulder as well, you might be able to feel. Okay, let's turn around to the other side. Sit tall. And then just breathe deeply. And now we're going to side bend. So stretching these muscles underneath our armpit, which are big muscles involved with breathing and also can lead to quite a lot of problems in the low back pain area. So we're going to take the back of our hand and put it on our head, just one of your hands, and then sit tall with your chin tucked in and lift your elbow up to the ceiling. So that elbow is just going to lift as high as it can go up towards the ceiling. So all of this gets longer. The back of my hand on my head, palm facing the ceiling. When you've got your elbow as high as it can go, you imagine a big barrel on the other side, and you're going to lift over that barrel. So it's a side bend away from the stretching side, but we've already got it long, and then you side bend away, and you'll feel the stretch all up your side, but we want it to really be in that top bit as well. So now we add a big breath in that expands your rib cage, that increases the stretch. And then we're just going to do the same thing, but turn slightly towards the other side. So this is my right, I'm going to turn to the left just slightly, so I'm just facing my knee, and then lift your elbow up, and then side bend over a barrel, and then take a big breath in. Try and keep your shoulder down. Okay, let's do the other side. So it might feel different. Well, it will feel different, it's the other side, but it might feel more tight. So back of your hand on your head, and then lift your elbow up, and then side bend away from that side. And then we'll take one or two big breaths here, trying to stretch what is already stretching. Shoulder down. So even though your hand's there, your shoulder's trying to be away from your ear. We'll sit up, we'll turn so you're facing that opposite knee now. Lift your elbow right up. Side bend over. And breathe. Okay. Good, and then let's bring that elbow down, and we're going to come off the towel. So we'll go back onto those later. We're going to flip your legs over to one side. So this next one's a bit difficult for a lot of people, so I'll show you a little variation once we get going. So we're sitting side sitting without your knee overlapping your foot, and then you use your tummy muscles to come up off the floor. So without your hands pushing the floor, you slowly lift your hips so they're just a centimetre off the floor, and then you come all the way up. It's also in that back glute, up to a sitting position, hips pushed forward, and then you lower down, and you want to have that pause just before you land on the floor so that you know you're completely in control and not falling. And then we're going to do a few more of those this side. So maybe go for 4 or 5 more on that side. If you're finding it difficult, because it's either in your knees or it's in your hips, then you come up to kneeling with your feet flat, with your knees quite far, sort of hip width apart, and then you're going to sit over on one side, and then you come up, and then you're going to sit over on the other side. And you're forward with this, so hear my body coming forward, and then over onto the other side. You can put something underneath your knees as well if your knees are sore. So it's the same sort of movement, same sort of thing. You don't want to use momentum, you want to use muscle, and you don't want to use gravity, you want to use muscle. So one more on this side. If you're doing both sides, you're just carrying on alternating. You can also use your hands in front of you to help you, but we're trying not to. And then we're going to flip over to the other side. So legs go the other way, and then we're sitting down. And just make sure you're breathing. It's a good idea to breathe out as you come up, just because that's a typical breath holding thing, to go as you make an effort. So just long and easy exhales. And try and do that little pause as you lift off. And if it's really starting to really hurt your knees, because even the kneeling position gets quite squashed behind the knee, then just stop, and we're going to be in all fours for the next one, so you can go into a child's pose. Let's push our hips forward, slowly lower down. I think if we do one or two more, that should be about equal. The slower you come up just off the floor, and the slower you go down just onto the floor, the more you know that you're in control. Okay, we're going to stay up, kneeling. And then bring your knees in. And we're going to put our hands on the floor. Let's use a towel underneath our knees. So before you put your hands on the floor, let's get a towel, and we're going to put a towel underneath your left knee. The other knee is going to be on the floor. If you want a towel under both knees, actually we're going to be lifting the right knee, so don't worry about it. So towel underneath the left knee, because we want to have that wonkiness in the hip, and also we're going to be on the left knee a lot. Hands underneath your shoulders, shoulders down away from your ears. If you can see yourself in the screen, then just try and have vertical thighs, toes tucked. Okay, so we're wonky in the pelvis, so let's pelvic tilt here. Just getting into the wonkiness, because it might be you might be a bit wonky anyway, and this might be your, fixing your wonkiness, but either way, it's good to get into a different position. So we're pelvic tilting, tucking and untucking. And now let's stay with a neutral pelvis. So you're thinking tailbone lifted, dip in your low back, and your rib cage pulled up away from the floor. So your rib cage not down, but pulled right up, and your shoulders down away from your ears, and your chin tucked, and your neck nice and long, chest nice and wide. Now let's rhomboid push-up. So rhomboid push-ups are the ones where we don't bend our elbows, and you bring your chest down to the floor, and you lift your chest away from the floor. So you're bringing your shoulder blades together, and then your shoulder blades far apart. Shoulder blades together, far apart. It's easier to do it without the floor, so you can always do it like this as a workup. So you're reaching away, and then your shoulder blades slide together. Okay, just do one more, and then we're going to stay halfway up, or we're kind of thinking that we're filling in between the shoulder blades. So that's shoulder blades aren't sticking up with a gap, with a bowl in between them. They're all filled in. And now let's get back to our hips. But before we move here, we're going to make sure that all of this is being looked after. So if this is working well, then it's stabilizing your pelvis, and your low back will be working well. So you want to breathe in through your nose, out through your nose or mouth, and think about blowing out candles. As long exhale as you can. And that exhale comes from your pelvis up and out. Breathing in, into your bottom rib. Okay, and then we're going to lift the knee that's off the floor, right knee, and lift it higher than your left knee. And it's just gone vertically up from where it used to be. And then we're going to lower it down till it nearly touches the floor, and then we're going to lift it up again. Still doing candle breathing. And to show you my view from behind, what you don't want to happen, if you can see without mucking up your position, is you don't want to bring your hip right over to the left. You want to keep your left hip over your left knee. And that's really important because you're moving your right hip higher. You'll be able to feel it in your low back, but we're using these muscles of the left hip to stabilize it. So if your hip's going to the left, they're not doing it. And then let's hold the knee at the same level as your left and take your leg out behind you. Just come where you can see my leg. And then make the leg longer so that you make your right hip move away towards the wall behind you. So just imagine there's someone behind you, they're pulling your right leg. Now you want your right leg to get shorter. So we're going to bring your right hip up to your right armpit and then extend it out. So it's this movement, but we're doing it in all fours. So you're squashing your right side and you're extending your right side. Your arm, your leg, right leg stays at the same level. And this uses this muscle that connects your ribs to your pelvis here that is a big back pain contributor. If you're ticklish in your ribs, that is often a biggie. Tight muscle. Now let's leave this leg long. So the right leg's got longer. And then lift the right side of your pelvis up towards the ceiling and bring it down so it's the same height as your left. So again, from behind, your left hip stays over your left knee, and we're lifting up the right side of your pelvis and lowering it down. It's pivoting on this left side of your pelvis. So I love these because you can feel they're really hard work. So they use your right buttock a lot, and they're using your left hip. Make sure you're still breathing. And we'll just do one more. We're doing quality, not quantity. And then bring your right hip so it's the same height as your left hip, and bring your right leg out to the side and put it on the floor. Okay, so now we're going to cat stretch here. Thinking as you cat stretch of moving your pelvis as well as the rest of your body. So tuck your tailbone under, then lift your back up, tuck your chin in, then lift your tailbone up, and then bring your ribs down. So just start with your pelvis each time, because otherwise it can just get a little bit forgotten. So we're cat stretching, and then we're just flattening out your back, extending your spine. And you'll feel not only the movement in your back and in your spine, but a stretch in your right inner thigh. Let's make this one the last one. And then stay with your tailbone slightly lifted and an extended spine. Lift your right hand off the floor and then take it behind your left arm and twist. So right hand lifts off, reaches behind your left arm, and we're going into a twist. Right shoulder still, in theory left hip still, and then we're reaching through. So ribs are really twisted, and there's even more of a stretch in your right inner thigh. See if you can lift your tailbone even further up to the ceiling, so it's really untucked pelvis there. And you'll get even more of a stretch. And then right hand on the floor. We're going to breathe in, come forward. Breathe out, sit back. Breathe in, come forward. Right foot stuck on the floor. Breathe out, go back. Again. And now when we're forward, we're going to arch our back. So tailbone tucks. Lift your back right up, round your spine up to the ceiling. Imagine you're dangling from a rope round your waist. Keep this curve, as much of a tuck in of your pelvis as you can, and then take your bottom back towards your heel. As far as you can, rounded this time. You'll feel the stretch in your armpits and in your upper back. Let's walk your hands back towards your towel, towards your knee. and come up to kneeling. We've nearly finished on this knee. I know it's been quite a long time. So you might look opposite to me. Arms up in the air, and let's side bend away from your straight leg. Just go to where you can hold. Hips are forward, ribs are down. So we're contracting here the muscle that we stretched with our back of our hand on our head. So let's breathe into it. We're using it down here, we're stretching it up here. And then haul yourself back up, and then we'll stretch the other side. So side bend over your straight leg. And then haul yourself back up and bring your right leg in front of you, toes up, straight leg, and reach over it. Push your low back behind you. Okay, and then let's come up, off the towel, turn it over, just refresh it, and then right knee on the towel, left knee on the floor. We go again. Okay, so shoulders down away from your ears, and let's just do some pelvic tilting first with a different wonkiness in our pelvis, which now we might feel a bit looser. We've already worked on it a bit. Okay, tailbone lifted, rib cage in, not lifted too much, but a good lift there. Now shoulders down away from our ears, and let's do a few rhomboid push-ups again. So maybe not as many because we've done the other side and it doesn't really massively relate to this where the towel is under our knee. So now let's stay while we filled in between our shoulder blades, and we've got a nice long neck, shoulders down away from our ears, chin tucked. And now we're going to hover our left knee off the floor and then bring it higher than the right. And then lower it, not quite to the floor, and then lift up. So these you want to keep really smooth with your right knee, your right hip staying over your right knee. And you want to be able to keep breathing, still doing candle breathing. And you want your left knee to do a vertical line down to the floor and lift up. So there's no swaying over to one side. Make sure you keep breathing. You can go on your elbows if it's bothering your wrists. I know we've been on our wrists quite a long time. So remember, you can always stop. It is always quality over quantity, so stop when you want to. Knees the same height. Stretch that left leg out. Imagine someone's pulling it out of the room down there, and then make it shorter. Right hip, left hip up towards left elbow, and then longer. Armpit really, because it's along your back. Long leg, shorter leg. Breathing, long leg, shorter leg. Good. Couple more. Try and get it as short as possible through that side, and then as long as possible through that side. And it's just the shoulder coming towards the hip, and the hip coming towards the shoulder, and then both of them coming apart. They both move towards each other, but it's not a side bend. You do a weenie side bend, but it's not a side bend at all. Now let's make that left leg long, and then we're going to lift the left hip up, rotating on your right hip. And then lower, breathing, lift. Make sure you're breathing in one way, breathe out the other. Left hip lifts really high and then comes down. Keep that left leg long, so you're stretching your left heel out all the time. And then let's bring the hip down to the same level as your right. Bring the leg out to the side and put it down. So you should have a vertical right thigh here. Left foot on the floor, foot attached to the floor if you can. So we're going to cat stretch, tailbone tucks, rib cage lifts, chin tucks, big breath, and then extend, tailbone lifts, shoulders down, thinking of your pelvis first. Untuck your pelvis, the rest of your back follows. Tuck your pelvis, the rest of your back follows. So just think of it like a kind of snaky, slinky necklace, and you want your pelvis to lead the wave. And we're breathing. So it doesn't really matter when you breathe, way more important that they're good deep breaths. Okay, let's stay with our tailbone lifted now. So it's supposed to be a neutral spine. So when I say tailbone lifted, it shouldn't be really, really lifted. So if you know you're very, very mobile there, then it's just a small dip. Most people are the other way. So most people are quite tucked. So you want a lift of your tailbone. You want to be able to feel it there, and a dip in your low back. Breathe in forward. Breathe out. Back. Breathe in forward. So back's just staying nice and stuck in position. Go back as far as you know your back isn't moving. And you feel this in your inner thigh. Okay, we'll just do 2 more. A bit of a change in ordering. I'll do the thread the needle after this one. One more. Okay, now we're forward. Lift your left hand off. Take your left hand behind your right arm. Reach it through. Try not to have an arch of your back up to the ceiling here. Try to still have a little lift of your tailbone up. And your ribs in. And remember, you can be on your elbow here on your right arm. If you can manage on your wrist, then do. But if it's painful, then don't manage. Don't try, keep managing. Think of that tailbone lift. Okay, let's put that hand down on the floor, and then we're going to tuck our tailbone under, lift our back right up, get as much of a cat as you can. So really feel like you're hanging, there's a rope around your waist hanging you from the ceiling. And then take your bottom back towards your heel, keeping that push away of your back. Hands on the floor, hands can reach forward. If you don't feel a stretch under your armpits, reach them forward until you do. And then push your low back behind you. And then hands come towards your knee, and we'll come up to a high kneeling position. Hips push forward. Both hips in line with your knee and foot. Arms up in the air. Ribs are down. Neck nice and long. Let side bend away. And then let's go back the other way. So haul yourself up, over to the other side. Reach to the ceiling with both hands. And then we're coming up, and then we bring this left leg forward, toes up towards the ceiling, heel in line with your hips, straight leg. Then sit your low back and bottom right back behind you. Okay, let's come off our knees, relief. We're going to get a towel and roll it up. So we're going to use it underneath our ribs, just for a bit of a rib massage. Because with your back can't look after itself if you don't breathe well. So breathing is back stabilization. So we're going to put a rolled up towel underneath your rib cage when you lie on your side. If you haven't got a second towel, then we can use one here anyway. Okay, so it's just underneath rib, not waist. It doesn't really matter where, but not right up by the armpit because it stops being quite so ribby up there. And then put your head in your hands. So you're putting quite a lot of pressure onto the towel here. So you can move it if you're not feeling pressure. Stack your hips, bottom leg is bent. Top hand on your top hip first of all, and then stretch this top leg out. And make sure you can see the foot, so it's not behind you, it's in line with you or slightly in front. And then make this leg long. And you'll feel how that changes your whole back shape. So have your hip bones at the same position. And then make it short, and then make it long. So scrunched up side of your back, long side of your back. Should be in the middle. So we're kind of going for hips stacked now. So hips on top of each other. And then this leg is going to have a short end. So flex the foot, heel pushing away. And then bring the leg forward and back just slightly behind you. Kicking forward, kicking back. So here we want a leg that's moving like you're walking, and your back is moving a little bit. You might be able to feel some movement, but not very much at all. And your ribs stay down towards your pelvis, not in a locked, fixed way, but just kind of natural way, relaxed way. So breathe with this. Your ribs and pelvis can't really move because they're stuck on things. So you can feel your limitations here. And you might notice how little that leg goes behind. So when we're taking big striding step walking, doesn't actually mean that we've got any stability up in the top. Okay, we're going to move our arm now as if we're walking as well. So as the leg comes forward, the arm goes back. Leg goes back, arm goes forward. And just keep them both parallel to the floor. So we're just doing slow-mo walking with a middle that is working. So just make sure you're breathing. And we'll just do a couple more. Keep that leg up to hip height, so you feel it in that outer hip. And then bend your knee, put your leg down on top of the other. Stretch your bottom arm out. Really stretch it out so it feels difficult on the towel. And then the top arm's going to come overhead as well. And we're going to stretch the top leg out, and you can stretch the bottom leg out if you want, or you can keep both legs bent. We're trying to put more pressure on the towel. So if it's hurting, then you can just put less in by stretching out less. We want to be stacked, so shoulders on top of each other, hips on top of each other. And then we're going to roll forward and back, just small rolls. So we're just massaging out the muscles on the rib cage there, and let's breathe into them. Just 2 more breaths. Still while we're doing little rocking forward and backs. Good. Okay, and then we're going to roll over onto our back with this towel propping up the lower part of our shoulder blades. So just think bra strap area. If you've got bra on, if you haven't, just imagine where then one might be. Hands behind your head, chin tucked, elbows in, so elbows as wide as your shoulders, and then just have a little walk from side to side on the towel. And then stay, so you've got the same pressure either side of your back, either side of your spine. And keep your low back on the floor here, so squash it down, and then let your shoulders fold over the towel, let your spine fold over the towel. We're uncurling that curl at the top of your back, and then let your elbows drop wide and keep hold of your head. So you need your low back on the floor here, and you need to keep hold of your head so it's not just a flop and then nothing's really happening. So it's just an ease over, and then just check you've got equal pressure both sides of your back. You might have a tighter side, one side of your back, that's not the same thing. You also might have a bulkier side actually, so maybe pressure wouldn't be the same. Let's have a little sway from side to side just in case. And then just settle where you feel is the middle. And breathe here. So we sometimes do longer versions of these, but we're just going to do a short one. They always feel good. This stretch. Okay, chin in, elbows in, and then walk, walk, walk down the towel, or take it out. We're going to put it underneath your head. And we're going to hold the other towel in your hand. So this one in your hand could be a cushion or something. It could be nothing. So hold it in your hand and up to the ceiling, heels underneath your knees, so hip width apart, knees hip width apart, and we're going to imprint your low back down onto the floor. So you push it down. Like imagine there's a grape underneath your low back and you're squashing the grape, squishing it completely, it's flat, and then make space for it. And then squash it again, and then make space for it. Now try and keep your rib cage down on the floor and make it all the pelvis movement that's squashing and unsquashing the grape. You might not be able to, but let's try. And then put the grape back under your low back and lift and lower your ribs to squash and unsquash the grape. So your bottom rib comes up to the ceiling, your bottom rib goes down to the floor. Okay, let's stay with your ribs down, hard on the floor, and a little grape underneath your low back. And we're going to take our shoulders down away from our ears. And just take the towel up overhead, see how far it gets without your ribs lifting. And then lift the towel back up again and put your right hand flat to the ceiling with the towel on it, left arm up to the ceiling, just facing your right hand. Left leg up into tabletop. Right foot nice and light on the floor. Still got that same back shape, grape there. Chin needs to be tucked in. We're going to take your right hand out to the right, your left knee out to the left. We're going to bring them back in again. Breathing out. Breathing in. Two more. Keep nice and light in your right foot, right knee not moving. Now let's bring that towel in and your left knee in. And now your left leg's going to straighten out and the towel goes back. Breathing out, breathing in. And keep that little grape there, bottom rib down. One more after this one. Now bring your left knee in, so it's over your hip, And we're going to put the towel on your left knee with your right hand on it, and we're going to push across. So right hand pushing into the towel, into the knee, knee pushing into the towel, into the hand. And breathe. Still got that grip under your low back. Okay, now we're going to use your right buttock. Right foot is going to push through the floor, and we're going to lift your pelvis just off the floor. Ribs are still down. If you want to take the towel away and use your elbows here, you can. We want to keep lined up. So right knee, foot and hip in line. Left foot, knee and hip in line. Still pressing into that towel. We're going to roll your spine down. So from the top, so from your rib cage, tailbone comes down again. Push into your right foot, lift up. It's your right buttock doing the work, and you'll feel your left hip really working as well. Roll down. Breathe. Push, lift up. Roll down. And again. Don't let the toes of your right foot lift. Keep them on the floor. One more. Try to roll down rather than flat back down. Coming up doesn't really matter. Hold it here, last one. Check the toes of your right foot. Check your alignment. And then roll your spine down. Let's put the towel to one side. Hold on to your left knee. Stretch your right leg out. Pull your knee in. Right heel on the floor. Left knee hard in. And just open your low back towards the floor. You want to just feel like your low back is widening. Good, you can change legs. And then feet on the floor, towel on your left hand up to the ceiling, right hand up to the ceiling facing, right leg into tabletop. Left heel under your left knee, knee directly over the foot, chin tucked, ribs down. Nice wide chest. Breathing. Blowing out candles. Right knee is going to go out to the side. Left arm goes out to the side. So it doesn't matter if you're not moving very much on the outside. Remember, the less impressive it looks on the outside, the more is moving in the inside. The more is working to stabilize your pelvis and ribs. So if they're moving, those muscles are not working or not joining in. So keep them still. Left knee staying over your left hip or in line with your left hip. That's the biggest measure. Try and keep your left hand flat to the ceiling. So we're using the left shoulder here. Let's do the extensions. So now, breath out as your right leg extends, left arm goes up overhead. Grape in your low back. Coming in. Coming out. Keep your right rib down. Okay, last one, this one. Let's bring that right knee in, into tabletop, over the hip, towel on, press, and breathe. So reaching across, the knee sort of coming towards your right shoulder, but your arm is coming across. Big breaths into your bottom rib and belly. Don't move your left foot. Push into your left foot. Hover your pelvis. Remember, you can take the towel away and use your arms if you need to. If it's really aching your right thigh, you can just keep that knee closer in. Okay, we're rolling our spine down. Breathe in. Push up, lift. Keep that left knee in line. Roll down. Left foot pushing through the floor. Left toes on the floor. Okay, make this one your last one. So when you've come all the way down, put the towel to one side, hold onto your right knee, stretch your left leg out. So expanding your low back. The more you pull your right knee, the more your back can open towards the floor. And then let's change knees. Okay, and then we're going to go onto our side and we're going to do the sideline ones the other way. So we're going to use the roll underneath your bottom rib or rib cage somewhere. Knees are bent, head in your hands, hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, top leg's going to stretch out at hip height. Okay, we're going to make that leg longer, we're going to make that leg shorter. Longer and shorter, just so that we're not just putting it anywhere. Let's stay with your hips stacked now, and then we're kicking, going just behind your body, all the way in front of your body, bottom leg stays down. So remember, we want your ribs to stay connected to your pelvis, want your breathing to stay pretty natural, and then this straight leg swings through. Let's move opposite arm, or same leg to arm, but in the opposite. It's reciprocal, arm forward, leg back, as it is when we're walking. One more. Lovely. Knee comes in. Lie out over your bottom arm. Stretch that arm right out. Top arm over. Top leg out. Bottom leg as well. The more stretched out as you want, most stretched out you want. We're putting weight into the towel here. So weight into it and roll forward and back. Small rocking. And breathe. And these muscles, just like any muscles, shouldn't be painful to press. So just notice if they are. Do this more often. Okay, and then let's roll over onto our front and come up into all fours. So we want to get a bit of standing up in, so we're just going to go into a plank hold. You've got the option to be in all fours. You can be on your hands or your elbows. You need your shoulders away from your ears. You need your ribs tucked in. You can go into a half plank, so hands forward and Hips in line with your shoulders and knees, shoulders away from your ears, ribs up. Or tuck your toes and straighten your legs out. So from half plank to plank, there's only a straightening of the legs. Ribs are lifted away from the floor. And we're breathing. Or you can be on elbows. Or you can be in half. And we're going to do a sway from side to side. So you're just taking your body one way and then the other. Straight on, side to side, which will really get into the shoulders. So even if you're on your elbows, you'll still feel your shoulders having to work. Keep your ribs tucked into your body. Keep breathing. If you can manage a couple more breaths, then do. Knees down then, flatten your feet. And let's curl up in a ball. And give your shoulders a shrug. And then let's put our hands by our knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips, feet on the floor. Walk your hands back to your feet, bent knees, forward fold. Feet hip width, knees hip width. We're going to roll up. So take your time rolling up if you need to. And we're going to do a very quick standing sequence that I intended to be a bit longer, but never mind, we did lots of other stuff instead. So feet are hip width apart. We're going to lift one knee up. And then we're going to put it down and just check it doesn't quite hit the floor. So it's with this hip side of your hips being stabilized from this one. Then lift up and then go to take a step forward. So better looking sideways. So go to take a step forward, but take your bottom back behind you. Then come up, knee up, then go to take a step backwards, weighing into that front foot. Knee up. Forward. Keep your big toe down. Keep your heel down. Keep your little toe down. Keep the ball of your foot down. Keep breathing. And try to have loads of weight in your heel, just because that's the bit that quite often comes off. People really weigh into their forefoot. Okay, and then let's bring that foot in, hip width away from the other. Let's lift the knee of the other leg up, then put it down and check that it's not reaching the floor. Lift it up again, and then go to take a step forward. We're heel striking here. Lift up, foot behind. Try and keep your standing hip over your foot. Lift up. Forward. So it's not the moving leg we're really interested in here. It's your stabilizing leg and foot. You want the hip to be working. You want the knee to be staying over the foot. So it only goes forward and back. Remember, knees don't twist. It's a hinge joint, so it can only go forward and back. You want your foot to be really spread out and equal on the floor and not wobbling, she says, as she massively wobbles. So big toe down, little toe down, heel down. For the whole cycle. Okay, we'll do one more each way. I feel like I've done more this side, but you probably chose your least favourite leg second, so I did. So we'll do a few extra. And then let's bring that foot in and put it hip width away from the other, and then we'll twist. So we'll do more standing on Friday to make up the small standing this time. So twist all the way one way and look over your shoulder Keep your feet flat down, see if you can twist even more, and then look forward. So put your chin on the other shoulder, but keep your body facing backwards. And then get long through your spine. And then let's go the other way. So look over the other shoulder, keep your feet flat, twist as much as you can to put your whole body to turn behind you. And then turn your chin to the other shoulder and then lift up. So just try and be, right, as if you're hanging from the crown of your head, try and get your spine long. And then let's just bring that back. Both arms in the air, onto your toes, a big stretch up. And then let's flop. And then let's roll up. Reach up, big breath in. And then let's drop over our legs. Good, well done. Let's just